Hello, hello. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about using textual evidence to support inferences about characters. So our objective for today is I can describe key characters in a text with an inference and textual evidence. Now you might be thinking, why do I need textual evidence? Well, the reason is when we ask for textual evidence, we're basically asking you to prove it, right? If you say something to a friend and they're like, prove it, what they're asking for is that textual evidence, So today we're going to talk about how can we use that evidence if we're making inferences about characters. So quick reminder, in video 1, we learned about how an inference is an educated guess. Okay, so when we put evidence together, or what we read or what you saw, with background knowledge, what you already know, that equals an inference. So today what we're really going to focus on is that evidence piece, what you read and what you saw. So textual evidence is the part of the text that supports or proves your answer. So if you're sitting here thinking, why do you need textual evidence? It helps you prove your answer. It helps you prove that you're correct. So in order to include textual evidence, first you need to make your inference. So say, in this case with character traits, you're going to say how you describe that character. Then you need to cite the evidence that proves your answer is right. Okay, so we're not just choosing any old piece of evidence. We're choosing the evidence that proves your answer is right. Now, to start off the year, we're going to use just 2 ways to introduce that evidence. One thing you can use to introduce that evidence is the text states, comma, quotation mark, and then put the evidence that you'd like to include. Or you may say, according to the text, comma, quotation mark, That comma space quotation mark is super important. All right, so we're going to practice using a section of our novel, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. Okay, so you guys are going to follow these steps in the gray box to infer which character traits describe the character, and then you're going to find that evidence. All right, so we're going to start off with step 1, where you're going to reread the passage and underline the character's thoughts, feelings, and actions. All right, this is going to help us get to step 2, where we make our inference. So concentrate on those thoughts, feelings, and actions in this passage. So our prompt is to read the passage below to determine the character trait that best describes Papa. Support your answer with textual evidence. So we're going to read together, and you all are going to notice how I'm seeing Papa's thoughts, feelings, or actions. All right, this is from paragraph 8. In 1930, the price of cotton dropped, and so in the spring of 1931, Papa set out looking for work, going as far north as Memphis and as far south as the Delta country. So I'm thinking to myself, that's definitely an action that Papa did, so I'm going to underline it. He had gone west, too, into Louisiana. He worked the remainder of the year away from us, not returning until the deep winter when the ground was cold and barren. So there's more actions from Papa, right? He worked the remainder of the year away from us. The following spring, after the planting was finished, he did the same. Now it was 1933, and Papa was again in Louisiana laying railroad tracks. And there's one more action of Papa. So step 2 is to reread those underlined words and phrases and decide, what do we learn about the character's personality? This is going to be our inference that we will find evidence for later. So in this pink box, you can see are underlined phrases that show Papa's thoughts, feelings, and actions. All right, so I'm just going to think through. All right, he set out looking for work, going as far north as Memphis and as far south as the Delta country. I also underlined he worked the remainder of the year away from us, and Papa was again in Louisiana laying railroad tracks. So I have to think, which character trait best describes Papa? Does this show he's serious, hardworking, or brave? I'm going to go with hardworking. It sounds like he works all year long, doesn't take a break, and he has to be away from his family. So, step 3, we need to find the textual evidence. Figure out which of those pieces of evidence or those quotes support our inference that Papa is hardworking. And you'll remember we need to use these phrases according to the text, comma, space, quotation mark, or the text states, comma, space, quotation mark. And so in this green box, we can see our final inference with evidence. Papa is a hard-working person. According to the text, Papa set out looking for work, going as far north as Memphis and as far south as the Delta country. So these first 2 sentences have our inference, and they have the best evidence to support that inference. And then we explain it. This shows how Papa makes sacrifices and takes hard jobs to provide for his family. So in that last sentence, we explain our evidence. How does that tell us he's hardworking? So you have now seen a model, and we've learned 2 videos about inferences. So what you're going to do is complete inference lesson 2 in order to continue practicing using the same strategy that we just talked about. If you have a question, you can text Miss Shanahan or Mr. Cross, and we'll be here to help you. Have an awesome rest of your day.